Peter, we have the easiest business in the world right now. It's only getting easier. It will be better in 2025 than it's ever has been before. With AI, there is no excuse anymore. We have one book right now. It's doing, $400 or $500 a day. That book cost me $0, like zero. It's so easy now. One book can change your life. 5, you won't even recognize your new self.
And these details, especially the one you just share, now I'm thinking, okay, I need to make sure that I haven't done that mistake.
If you look at those two things, you're in for a world of hurt.
And you just drill down and you ask why? Why? You change his life. We can agree on that.
Yeah, 100%, some will. And those are the bad hires that you just fire right away. And then you find somebody who won't.
I can tell you I can 100% relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought it up. My top book is from 2018. It's probably going to make 5,000 plus this month. Yeah.
Right. And that's always going to do that. Like that book it's cemented, it's established, it's placed on Amazon. It took off the for rent sign or the for sale sign. It's home, right? It's not moving. And that's the idea.
It is real estate on Amazon. That's what it is. I think we've covered the secret to success here on this interview. Today, I'm joined by someone who started self-publishing on Amazon KDP in 2016. You might know him from his YouTube channel, My Self-Publishing Blueprint. He's also built another channel, Driven Hard, where he shares on and off-road adventures with his Range Rover. That channel has grown to over 57,000 subscribers. One thing I'm always appreciated about the person we'll be talking to today is his take on passion and building a brand. He's always had an authentic style, and I remember being motivated by his monthly goals reports and weekly updates back in 2017. In this video, we'll talk about his journey, the changes he sees from when he got started with publishing compared to today, and some of the strategies that he has used along the way. Welcome, Emeka. It's great to have you here.
Bro, thank you for that. That was quite the intro, man. Appreciate it.
Can you start by sharing your story of how you got started with self-publishing?
Yeah. It was, I guess, like the short version is we moved to Mexico, and I wasn't about to start flipping tacos. Or I guess you don't flip tacos, but I wasn't about to start flipping tortillas and making tacos, and I had no job. And so I had to find something. And then I probably did like a Google search or something or on YouTube, but like how to make money. And it started with Gary Vee. And he talked about retail arbitrage, or I guess it was like Amazon, eBay arbitrage. And so I kind of checked out that and I was like, oh, wow, I could make a profit doing it. And like 3 items I checked. I was like, I could make a profit doing it. But being in Mexico was a little bit more complicated, at least I thought it was. And then, just went through the YouTube, what do you call it? The YouTube whatever, and ended up finding about Amazon KDP and jumped into that. Never looked back. Yeah.
What was it that attracted you to Amazon KDP specifically?
The low cost, because at the time, and we didn't have a ton of money saved up. And so looking at like FBA, for example, that was going to take a couple grand. So that was like a no-go. Whereas at the time, publishing, we were doing like 5,000 word books back then. It was, probably like $200 to get a book written. It wasn't a lot of money. And so we were able to do that. So I was able to get started that way. So the low cost adventure.
Yeah, I remember one thing as well for me was the passive income. Did you read a lot of those books as well? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or The Richest Man in Babylon, or any books?
I love The Richest Man in Babylon, man. That's, the funny story about that book, just really quick. I remember reading that book, listening to the audiobook. Because if I remember, the audiobook kind of has, like, it's kind of like an old school, like it's like told like in a cool way, in a story. It's not like a dry nonfiction book, right? It was during the summer, one summer in Burnaby, I was just sitting on the grass, and I'd go to this park every day and just sit on the grass in the sun and listen to that audiobook. And that was just like, love doing that. But yeah, no, I read those, and bro, it wasn't trying to make a passive income. It was trying to make an income. And like, I didn't care if it's passive or active, or I just cared it was income coming in. That's what I was after at the time.
What have you been up to these last few years?
A bit of everything. Like it's been crazy. Like, when did I stop publishing? I stopped publishing in 2021. I just got tired of it. And we were going through some things at the time and everything. And, so I sold my KDP account for like, it was like $200,000, just over that. So that was cool. But it was like, and then I was working with some students one-on-one for a little bit, but it really, I don't know what I know what it was. It was probably just the ego, reality. I think my ego just got the best of it. And I just stopped. Like, I just couldn't do it. And, and so like I took a step back and didn't do much. I did have the Driver Hard channel, but that wasn't making money. It was paying for a tank of gas a month. So nothing to brag about, but it was a checkbox on the bucket list for sure. And then, I got back into publishing when, like, not this year, but the year before. And it came back and it was like, what is this place? It's so different. It was so nuts. Some was super familiar still, but so much was changed. It was like, oh, this is cool. And I honestly think it was all for the better. Like, it changed, for the better. It's been a bit of a wild ride. Became a professional wrestler in Mexico as well.
Wow.
That was crazy. Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. I grew up with WWE and whatnot. So that was always on the bucket list, the dream list. But so I had a chance to do that. So crazy shape. But so that's always fun. But yeah.
That's amazing. I did a little bit of Muay Thai, but I want to definitely get into wrestling. That's wrestling or jiu-jitsu. That sounds like a great skill to have.
I would love to do jiu-jitsu. I haven't been able to find a GM here that has anybody who speaks English, but jiu-jitsu is something I would love to get into.
You mentioned the changes there in terms of publishing. What big changes have you seen over the years? And when you got back, what did you see?
Well, AI is obviously the biggest one. But let's just take that one out of the equation, because I think that's like too obvious. I think the amount of money people are making, I honestly think that's the biggest change. Just the massive opportunity that it is now compared to what it used to be. I think it's even bigger now than it was back in the golden age or whatever of self-publishing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's I remember back in 2017 or 18, people said, if you're making $10,000 a month, then look for bigger and better opportunities, because that's about what you can expect with publishing. Of course, we had people such as Steve Scott. I remember he was making $30,000 a month. That was a big thing. And you've had, yeah, go ahead.
No. You forgot about him, but yeah, no, like 30K was like, oh my God, wow, that's crazy. But now it's 30K. You're like, yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, that's solid, man. $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a month. It's not like super common, but it's definitely not uncommon anymore.
Yeah. I checked the bestseller list yesterday, and I think I saw just on the top 20 was at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 plus independently published. Yeah, and I don't think we saw that back in 2016, 17, 18.
No, I don't think we did. It's just, yeah, the opportunity right now. People used to say, like, I remember, like, back, like, oh man, I wish I got back in this one, like back in 2015. And, back then it's like, you don't really have to say that anymore, because like publishing now is just, it's the best it's ever been by far.
I agree. I agree. Do you see any change in terms of the competition? Is the competition higher now, or how do you see that part?
Um, no, I think the competition is the same. I don't think okay. There's two ways you got to view competition, I think. Okay. There's like the legit competition where it's like, okay, you know, somebody's putting out a really good book and you're competing with them for this decent keyword and whatnot. Then you have the cockroach competition. Those would be like the spammers and the cockroaches. Though the cockroaches, I think, are always going to do that. They're just utilizing AI to like spam stuff. So you just have to kind of get yourself above that garbage. But when you do, you're just competing with people who are putting out higher quality books, and if anything, okay, to answer this, you have to put out a higher quality book now than you did before, right? Like, I think customers want more. They want something that's just because, like, you know, society's kind of evolved, right? I'm in the exercise niche. Videos are like a must. They weren't a must 5 years ago, right? But now it's so much easier to make videos, and you know, people, you know, phones and all of that stuff. So it's like a lot of niches, you got to create not just the book, but the extra content to go along with the book in order to stand out as one of the top people.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's not a higher barrier of entry. That's not how I see it. It's, if anything, yes, you want to be a little bit more skilled so you can see these things. But other than that, we have a lot of tools now that can make things faster, easier. We have a lot of education. So in terms of learning how to publish a great book, I think it's easier than ever.
Yeah, that's so true, man.
What would you say was the biggest or hardest bottleneck or challenge that you had to overcome in your publishing journey?
My ego. Like, it's a repeating factor. Like I said that I think once already on this call, but it's you know, that is it. It's like you stop learning, you think you know what you're doing, and so you forget to continue to learn, to continue to watch courses, to continue to watch lessons, continue to watch videos, reading. You gotta keep doing that, because if not, everybody passes you, and you're kind of left, what the hell? But that's really it. And so that's been the biggest challenge. I used to struggle with ads so much, because back in the day, you didn't have to run ads, or if you did, you would just turn them on and like let them do their thing and make money. Like it was just, but now ads have been like I am so confident running ads now, whereas 6 months ago, I had no clue what was going on. But it's like, right now, like, and that's really shown me a completely different way of looking at the business. Hold on. Hey, Elizabeth, could you not now? No. Yeah. Just see, process. It'd be funny. You leave that in and everyone would see the lack of Spanish skills that I have still. So what I was saying is going back to learning, and like I was saying with ads, like right now it's like I'm literally spending $100 and getting $500 back in profit from 2 of my books. And it took me a long time to learn how to do that with Amazon ads. Why? Because it's like, I know what I'm doing. I've run a course. I know this game. But now, like, I'm just learning as much as I can about every aspect that I can about the industry. And I'm like, I know nothing. And it's great because you're constantly learning and you're constantly improving and you're constantly making adjustments. You're like, this works, this doesn't work. And it's phenomenal. But I don't know if people are going to be able to relate to that at all with, what's the biggest obstacle or challenge you said, but like, to me, it was my own bloody ego. It was just
Man,
me.
I can tell you, I can 100% relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought it up. And because that is one of the biggest challenges. We think we know it all. And it's the same thing for me. I have to remind myself. And especially with ads, it's the same thing for me. I tried this strategy back in March of increasing the bid for a lot of older books. And it just completely ruined it for a couple of months, the profit at least. And since then, I've been on a journey to really learn, okay, how can I do it better? And I think it wasn't until 2 months ago, I hired this person that has spent millions on Amazon FBA ads. And I really had to think, okay, I don't know it. I am really happy you brought that up.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like in the groups, man, like I'll ask, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and, if they say something that I don't agree with or whatever, like before I was just like, this guy's an idiot. What's this, Now I was like, oh shit, okay, let me see if I can, okay, is there something here? Am I missing something? Or what, they're saying they do it this way. Why? And like, I try to look at it as more curious rather than I don't know if confrontational is the right word, but like, it's like, I'm more curious about what you're doing than, because it's like, is there something that I'm missing that I might not have thought of? So it's, yeah, man, like ego's the death of you.
Yeah. How did you come to that real? Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. How did you come to that realization? Because that takes usually comes through some sort of pain or suffering that you come to that realization, I think. Yeah.
Pain and suffering, man. Apologies for the F-bomb, but pain and suffering, man. It's like, that's it. How else do you learn? Pain and suffering. You don't learn through success. You learn through failure. You learn through reflection. You learn through suffering. There's no greater teacher. That's it. Yeah. Your wins don't teach you, they don't. Your failures do. Your screw ups do. All of that is what you need to learn to win.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Fail fast and learn from the mistakes. And if you can,
Fail
of course,
forward.
Yeah, fail forward. If you can learn from the mistakes of others, but sometimes people, they really need to make the mistakes themselves. I know I have needed to do that.
You can learn, yeah. And there's that, I can't remember the quote where it's like, learn from the mistakes of others or, and yes, that will help you get through stuff way faster by seeing what other people have done or whatever. But I think it comes to a point in everybody's life, in business or life, where eventually there are certain things that you have to go through, you have to experience for yourself, you have to learn from yourself that nobody else will be able to teach you, no matter what, no matter how hard you try. It's like you're going to have to learn this lesson yourself. And like, I know we're going to talk about coloring books and low cost. I did coloring books for a year. I wasted a year, 365 days doing coloring books. A whole year, Peter. I wasted doing coloring books. We Facebook group of thousands, right? YouTube channel branded. You know, me and my wife were doing this, doing weekly coloring. We went hard. Okay. And my buddy, he's telling me, don't. I'm like, hey, bro, can you help me with ads? He's like, yeah, just don't do coloring books and ads will work out. No, man, I can make it work. He's like, your book is like your profit. It's $1.20. You can't make ads work. Right. And he kept telling me for a year and then eventually he gave up. But then I was like, okay, maybe coloring books start working. I published a proper book. Okay. And that book makes more in like a week than coloring books were making in months. Like it was just, I was like, yeah, he was right. But no matter what he was telling me, it wasn't going to connect. Ego, stubborn, whatever. I can figure it out. I'm smart. I kind of know what I'm doing. Nope. I had to learn. And so, yeah, whenever somebody says, oh, I want to get into the coloring book, straight. Let's talk about your 30,000 word book instead. You can do coloring books later, but if you want to make money, don't do coloring books. But yeah, man. So now I'm just way more open to hearing and heeding the advice of people, taking it in, letting it digest, and seeing if there's something I can take from it. So,
yeah, and that's amazing. Now that we have that topic, what are your thoughts about low content, medium content, and high content books?
There are people that make money with it, 100%. And they are really fun books to create. My point of view is I'm in this to make a profit as quick and as fast as possible. To do that, you produce higher volume books, like 30,000 words and above books, period. And that is true for a few reasons. One, low content journals, activity things, and all of that, the barrier to entry is even lower than it is for a high content book. Because of that, you have a flood of crap coming to the market, like a flood. So you have to kind of sift through that noise first before people are going to notice your book. The second reason is just you're selling a product that's like $7, $8, $9, $12. You got no profit margin. You have to sell so much of them. Now, there's always another side to this, right? And the discussion I'd love to have with somebody who's killing it with medium content. Like I would love for them to be able to explain to me why I'm wrong. Like I need to see that other side of it because I don't get it. But yeah, man, after doing a year of coloring books, and don't get me wrong, like right now we have one of our coloring books we have two of them. They're absolutely crushing it for the holidays, right? I think they're number 2, number 3 for the holidays so far, right? But those took over so it was a year, they're 18 months old because it took, build up reviews and all of that. But yeah, sorry. Did that answer anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I have also tried a few coloring books, but I've never seen success with it. So going back to that part where you mentioned you do something for a long time and you see it's not working. I did the same thing. I was stubborn. After 6 months, I was making a good income from publishing, but I saw this shiny opportunity, which in that case was affiliate marketing, and I did it for 6 months, almost full time, I would say, and I kept going even though I didn't see any results. And looking back, I don't know what I was thinking. And of course, even since then, I've done fiction. I didn't see results in fiction. Now, I only did 10 books, but it's interesting. It's you see, okay, high content books, for me, that's what I understand. And I think it was Warren Buffett who said, invest in what you understand. So and for me, it makes the most sense to go with high content.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I'm talking to people, if they want advice on like how to do, like I'm comfortable talking about coloring books because I've done them. And yeah, we have some that, you know, they make a couple grand a month. Like it's not like they don't do anything, but the return on them is just not exciting. Um, but if they, you know, if they're like, oh, I'm dead set on making low content or whatever, I'm like, I'm not the person you need to talk to then. You need to find somebody who truly believes in that. Because I'm just gonna say you're doing it, like just don't do it and produce like high content books. Um, so
Yeah, I think the pricing is one challenge to overcome there. And I haven't run ads for it, but I assume the ACOS, you have to have a much lower ACOS for these types of books to be profitable.
100%. And like, how do you? I just don't know how people compete with that. Um, it's just crazy. And unless it's like there's a certain level of luck that comes into play with them. But like I said, like I don't have enough experience about it. I would love to be able to sit down with somebody and have a discussion with them on like, you know, it's like why high content, why low content, or like and have that debate. I think that'd be really cool. Probably be a funny video.
Yeah.
But and like yeah, there are people who I know are killing it with medium to low content books, but I didn't figure them out. I prefer high content. I like the idea behind high content. I really do prefer that style of nonfiction books. I just get more from it.
Yeah. And I know you read the books yourself, for example, Gary Vee. So you read nonfiction books, I read nonfiction books. So I think that also plays a role, that it's easier for us to understand what is a valuable book in the nonfiction space.
Well, yes, we made a travel book. It's Julian Raff's, what the hell is it called? Julian Raff's Travel Adventures. We spent $3,000 on this travel book. This was the first book we made when I decided to come back from publishing. We're still in debt to that book, but it's so good. But we created that because we love to travel, and it was about an area that we travel to a lot. And so it was probably the most fun I've ever had creating a book because the entire family was involved. It was awesome. So, but yes, going back to that, I just know nonfiction better. I understand what a nonfiction reader wants from books more than not. Like if I was to get into a fiction book, I wouldn't even know where to start because I don't read fiction stories. Like I haven't for years. All right, they just bore me. They don't bore me. Just the idea of sitting down and just reading a story. It's not me. I'm not a big reader like that. So I just wouldn't be able to relate to the end user properly to fully enjoy that. And I think that's important when you're doing this business. To relate to the end user of your books.
Yeah. You mentioned with the travel guide there, you very much enjoyed the journey. And I mentioned in the introduction as well, you've always been a big proponent on following your passion. Can you expand on how passion relates to publishing in your journey?
Passion won't pay your rent. Profits will. And I think that's a really important point to remember. You know, because for too long, I wanted to do things that I was passionate about. You suffer like that, right? I think people take that context out of, or that take that saying out of context a lot. Like, do what you're passionate about, and you'll never work it in your life. You'll also be broke. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters, and like might be wrong for this, but the only thing that matters is, are you making a profit? Okay. Now, to come to that profit, there are a lot of different ways. Let's try to find the way that you're going to enjoy the most. But I can't pay for a house being passionate about something. I can pay for a house with the profits that I get. Now, am I going to try to do something along the lines that I'm passionate about for? Yes. So I guess what you're trying to get at is like, when I do niche research, I look at all the things that I enjoy and I have interest in first and try to find books that are going to be related around that instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's why we did the travel guide, because we all love traveling and road trips. And we like, it's also printed in color. Like, we did everything you could do wrong for a book was this book. You know, it was like everything you could do wrong, because it's like, it's full color. It's like 200 pages. So it's like so expensive. And the profit margin is like next to nil because of that. But we're like, this is probably the best book we'll ever produce. So that was a passion project, and it makes no money because it was a passion project. We didn't think about the profits we were going to make with it. We hoped and dreamed, but it was reality hit us, right? However, whereas when I was like, okay, let's try to look for this from a profitable standpoint, and I got into the fitness niche because I like staying in shape, love working out. It's right. I was like, all right, let's do this. And at the time, I had a knee issue. I still do. It's kind of so when I was figuring out what niche to do, it was like, okay, well, I could do something with fitness. And at the time, I was doing a lot of like different exercises and whatnot to fix my knee. And it was working. I was getting good results. So it's like, oh, that's cool. How could I share this? Because it's something I'm going through, I'm passionate about, because I like to move around without pain. Right. And I was like, oh, seniors. Right. And so I got into the chair yoga business. Right. That's a whole nother discussion. So I got into that niche, and you know, I don't know if you ever dealt with a lot of seniors before, man, but sometimes they're not the best people to deal with. Right. But you know what? I entertain a group of 50,000 of them right now. And I'm in there chatting and helping. And, you know, there's this one lady, man, if I could share her story, like Ruth is her name. And her, like, she, like, she's an old, like 80s, like so many health issues. All right. I was like, she's like, I went to the doctor, and the doctor couldn't believe my cholesterol's down. This is down. This is down. My balance is better. I could get her to bed. Just listing off all these crazy things. And her doctor's like, what are you doing? She's like, I just started doing a bit of chair yoga. She'll post every couple of weeks about the progress. And I'm like, this woman's like changing her life. I had no idea it was going to be that powerful. Right. But then you see the other people who are doing it. I'm like, damn. Right. So I get excited because of being able to see results like that with people, you know, because health is important. I'm passionate about health. Right. So sorry, I don't know where that was going, but I just thought that we're talking about passion. So I took something that I was dealing with. I found a niche that I could help, because I was like, I'm somewhat related to that, even though I don't know really anything about yoga. But I know how to take care of yourself and how fitness works. And it's like, if they just do some of these exercises, they'll end up healthier. I can work with that. Boom. And I go into it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes 100% sense. So for example, you start with something, and maybe you're not super passionate about knee issues, but when you have that experience yourself, you get an interest in it. And then as you go further along in the journey, especially when you see the difference it makes in the readers, then you become passionate.
Yes. Yes. You know what? That's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. Now, caveat. The niche, right? My number one book right now, though, nothing I'm passionate about. In fact, it's on a topic that I can't stand. So, do you listen to the advice I just gave? Or, like, so what is the right answer? Right? Like, you know, I've completely left that other niche, like because like I'm not paying $2 a click. You guys can, like, I'm letting everybody else fight over that and waste their money on those. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Right now, I'm paying like 40 to 60 cents a click in this other niche. But it's on a topic I don't care about at all.
Yeah. No, but
I care about profits. So, and when I say I don't care, it's not like, I did the research. I found out what the other books were doing. They were lacking certain things. And I put myself in the shoes of the end user, right? It's like, I'm not a big pet person. It's in the pet niche. I'm not a big pet person. You see that thumbs up?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah,
right. And I'm not a big pet person, but I put myself in like, okay, well, what would a pet owner be? And so I called up a whole bunch of friends who have pets, and like I would run ideas off them. So yes, I'm not passionate about it, but that doesn't mean I don't want to make sure I'm not going to produce the absolute best product that pet owners are going to be passionate about, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So
I don't think
I feel like I've been too contradicting, like, passion and profits. Like,
but that's a good point. I think there's always a dichotomy. The truth is always somewhere in the middle, and that can be right, and that can also be right. So the way I see passion, for example, I don't think John D. Rockefeller was super passionate about transportation. I think he did, or Andrew Carnegie with steel. I don't think they were super passionate, but they made a lot of money. And
that's true.
Yeah. And I think, especially if you're going into a niche and you're only going to do, let's say, a few books in that niche, you're not looking to build a brand, then passion doesn't really play a role as long as you're willing to understand the customer avatar. But then if we go the other route, let's say you have a big vision, okay, I want to build the biggest travel brand in the world, and passion can definitely help in that journey. But
I think that is a really important point. And, going back to that pet niche, like, I think we have a list of like 3 other books that we want to come out with. And that wasn't really the intention at all. But I'm like, oh man, they would love this if we came out with this for them. Right. Because like I've seen some interest and spoken to a few of them by email. It's like, and that would be such a great one for them. There's like, oh, we could do this. And we're even looking like, okay, if we do these next ones, we should try to see if we can get like an expert to consult with us. And that's what I did with my yoga books. I reached out to an expert here in the city, and where's the other? Or no, 2 of them were in the city, and I reached out to them to have them review it, to say, because I didn't know what I was like. I don't know a lot about yoga. I know the basics probably as much as you do. So I had them review everything to make sure it's like, okay, is this all good? Like, no one's going to die, right? So,
yeah. And this leads me to the next question. And I have the answer now listening to you, at least one of this. So it'd be interesting to see if you answer the same thing that I'm thinking. But what would you say makes your approach to publishing unique? I can say it's super obvious for me, man.
Oh, really?
Do you want to know what it is?
I'm going to say it's one of 2 things, and I'm just trying to see which one it is. I'm going to say, one, it's either just trying to be passionate about the person who's going to be buying your book and like just making sure you're with them, Or it's just finding a different way to tackle the problem. But what would you, what are you thinking?
One word, and that is caring. You care about the reader, and it's obvious just from the stories you told with the share yoga, and also that you hired a person to make sure it's okay in the travel guide, everything. It's, you care about the reader. And I would say that is the thing that really stands out listening to this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that would be, because it's like, man, if they're spending like $20 on my book, I want them to enjoy it. I want it to at least solve some sort of problem that they're having. Like I don't like buying stuff that sucks. I don't want them to. Like, it might not be my name on it, but I know my name's on it. They don't know my name's on it, but I know my name's on it. That's enough for me to make sure that the product's solid.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for me. I remember we're constantly getting emails about certain revisions, and you have two routes there. You go through, and sometimes the revisions, they will take quite a long time to change. But either you listen and you do the changes, or you completely ignore them. And I've always set in system that no matter what it is, even if it takes a long time, we will take what the readers are saying into consideration, because ultimately they are the ones who will have the experience, and especially if we're building a brand, they are the ones that will spread the message about our books.
Yeah. I think on these latest books, I got one 3-star, all three, it might have been a 1-star review. It was the first negative one. And, it was like, what she said was, I understood what she said. It was untrue because I had covered it. But I was like, oh, I didn't cover it well enough. She missed it. How did she miss it? And yeah, we went back and we fixed it. We're like, okay, if she missed it, other people are going to miss it too. So we need to figure out how we can make this point bigger and like more so people don't miss it. Because if they're missing it, they're going to write bad reviews, but it's in the book. So like, because I knew I did my homework. And so, yeah, like it's just, I just want them to enjoy my product.
That's a great point you mentioned there. And that's something I've had experience with as well, where it is in the book, but sometimes maybe you need to mention it earlier on in the book, or make it super clear for them, because not every reader will read through the entire book page to page. And yeah.
No,
and a lot of people can most likely relate to that, getting a review that is critical or negative. How do you deal with that?
Oh, they're great, man, because they'll let you know the holes in your book right away, and you just go plug them.
Yeah.
Right. It's, and like, you can, when you read a review, it's like, okay, is this person just grumpy? I also look at their Amazon account, and it's like, if all they've done is left bad reviews, I'm like, okay, they're just an unhappy person with life. Right. They just complain about everything. But like, I'm like, oh no, okay, it's kind of a mixed bag here, and I'm in the bad review section. So, okay, what did they complain about? Why are they seeing this? Is that, did we miss something here? Did we overlook something here? So yeah, they need to just make those adjustments, because, good reviews tell you nothing. You need bad reviews to tell you where the holes are. And that's how you can, revise your book, make it better and better and better. So,
yeah. And especially if you're building a brand, then every feedback that you get will help your next book be better. And if you have a way for your readers to contact you via email, then you're also building up feedback that is not visible to the competition, but is visible to you. And with time, that knowledge that you're building up about what the readers want will compound. And when you look back, you will see, okay, my books are way better than the competition, and they are 2 years behind.
Yeah. No, 100%, man.
That's amazing. You messaged me inside the elites. You said something that you found IngramSpark in ISBNs. There was something related to conversions. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Should we just share it in video?
If you otherwise, we
Yeah.
can take it later. It doesn't matter.
No. So, okay, you're a big promoter of IngramSpark. And I think, and we're talking about this either in your group or on a call about the ISBN. So what I've done always in the past is when I have a book, so I'm being from Canada, I get my own ISBNs, right? So it's one good thing coming out of Canada, free ISBNs. So I'll get my ISBN, I'll publish a book on KDP, Ingram. If it's going somewhere else, it'll go somewhere else. But all with the same ISBN. Okay. So that's my normal standard way of doing things. For this book, I was like, oh, why don't I do things differently? Oh yeah, okay. Here, you know why? What I did? I hit expanded distribution on KDP for it because I was like, let me see what happens. Okay, so I did that. Because normally I don't, and I just go to Ingram. So I did that, and then I tried to publish it on Ingram, and it said this ISBN is already used. It's like, that's strange. And so I contact their support, and they're like, oh yeah, if you've marked it on expanded distribution on KDP, you can't use this ISBN on Ingram. I was like, oh. They're like, you can do a transfer, you can transfer it over to Ingram. And so this extended distribution sales won't go through KDP, they'll go through Ingram. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. We were getting into the holidays. So I was like, because she's like, could take 30 days. So I was like, yeah. Okay. So I was like, can I just give you a new ISBN? She's like, yeah. It's actually better that way. That's what she said. It's actually better that way because then it'll be cataloged. All right. Typical person who doesn't care about money. And here's what I found. Yes, it might be cataloged differently. But what happens is, as soon as I went live, I lost my bestseller tag for that book. It was my #1 book. Lost the bestseller tag. I was like, what the hell? That's strange. Why? And I noticed I was like, you know, it was between 9,000 to like 12,000 BSR, right? It's nothing great, but decent. And then I was like, why are we between 12 and 15 now? What the, what's going on? Why are my conversions going down a little bit on my ads? So start looking into things, and my book's on sale from Amazon. Right, that's a price strike. And then I'm evaluating my listing. I'm like, oh, why is it priced at $19? It should be priced higher than that. All right, go click on the listing. That's strange. And I go from my KDP dashboard to open up the book, paperback, right? And I was like, well, this is no, okay, it's not. It's $20. What the hell? And so I start clicking. What's happening is I typically look at my books by opening KDP, and you click on the view on Amazon US, and it opens up your tab, right? What was happening is if I go on the Amazon page, and then I look at go check out the hardcover, see how that's doing. And if I click back on the paperback, now the paperback is no longer KDP's paperback, it's IngramSpark's paperback listing, which is not on sale and has no A+. And so I was like, what the, and the book's ranked really good for keywords. It's doing really well on ads. However, if somebody clicks off of my page, off of the page that they came from the ad or from the direct Amazon listing, they are no longer landing on the page that converts them, the KDP listing. They're landing on the Ingram listing, which is crap compared to it because it doesn't have the A+. It's not on sale anymore, right? And I'm like, oh crap. This is why. Oh, and the BSR was like 182. And I was like, oh, so I got on the phone right away with Ingram or on chat. I was like, yo, what is this? And I was like, okay, pull my book from Ingram. Just pull it. Pull it right away. And literally, as soon as I pulled it, the book started selling again. Well, so, don't use two ISBNs for the book because it'll create a second listing on Amazon. And the problem is we can't control who gets the buy box. And you don't want Ingram to have the buy box on your books because their listing is just not good.
That's a great lesson. I've never thought of that. So in essence, you want to make sure that the ISBN that you're using on KDP is the same ISBN on Ingram. So you have one listing. So they're all merged.
So you need to buy or own your ISBN.
Yeah.
Because you can't, right? But I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is horrible. And so they say it'll take like 3 to 4 days to completely get removed out of the system. But that was, I was like, that was a lesson.
I wonder how many publishers are currently having that issue and aren't even aware of it.
I was competing with myself and losing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I was just, it was, that was I'm glad I learned that lesson quickly.
Yeah.
But, details, you got to pay attention. You got to, if something's happening, ask yourself why and track your stuff. And, it's the holidays, so everyone's tracking everything a little bit more closely. Right. Yeah.
And speaking of details, I want to commend the viewer. If you are listening all this way, then you're getting these details that are so important in your publishing journey. So definitely, if you're watching it to this far, I definitely believe in you, and I believe you, Emeka, believe in the viewer as well.
Well, yeah, if they've made it this far, you know what? Here in the comments, type Ingram. Just type Ingram. If you made it this far, type Ingram, so we know that you're like, a G, and you made it this far. Yeah.
And I remember myself, I used to listen to every video. I listened in 2x, and I didn't matter if it was a podcast like this, or if it was a solo video, or if there was someone who was making only $500 a month. I wanted to get every single detail. And these details, especially the one you just share, now I'm thinking, okay, I need to make sure that I haven't done that mistake.
And it's like you can't, and I always put the publisher name as the same, but I'm going to stop doing that now. I'm going to put the publisher name as a little different, just so it's like I can easily spot the difference. Because we don't know why KDP, why Amazon gives the buy box to either KDP or to Lulu or to Ingram. We don't understand that. That's like an internal whatever. But yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, and that we got that as an added value to the viewer.
Yeah, man.
How important has building relationships been in your publishing journey?
I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for the relationships. Like some of my closest friends are from the self-publishing space. Like I used to run those events in Cancun, and I've met some of the most incredible people in the world from here. And I always feel like they've done so much for me, and I'm always in debt to them. Like it's just, some amazing people. So I think the biggest thing was for new people, just find 2 or 3 other publishers, right, who are around your level, maybe a little ahead of you, and start having weekly calls with them. And that one thing alone will completely change how your self-publishing business, right? You share each other's books, you look at each other's books, you critique them, you ask questions, you learn together. I think people don't realize the power of that. Going into groups is great, like Facebook or school groups or whatever, like those are great. But if you can like grab a couple of people from them, and then you guys do your own thing, and just powerful, so powerful. And like I did that when I was new, and like I still talk with Ollie, like, you know, usually a couple times a week with chat. And it's just like so powerful because they will see things that you are not seeing, and you will see things that they are not seeing. And then you'll both just make more money because you guys are helping each other out, right? It's funny. Um, I was in one of the groups and somebody asked for help. And I'd never seen this guy before in my life. His name. And he asked for help. And it was kind of a bit more complicated question, right? I was like, bro, unless I can look at your book, what you're asking for, nobody's going to be able to help you. And he's like, you guys share your books here? I'm like, yeah, if you want help. He's like, oh my God, never saw him again in the group. I'm just like, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. Like, nobody cares about your book, right? Like, you have to be able to, like, you know, I think did I reach out to you when we first started talking? I was like, hey, Peter, you gonna look at this? Or
Yeah,
like I reached out to.
Yeah, we started talking in school first. I don't remember exactly what we said, but I remember we had a call not too long after.
Yeah, like, because like Barry, for example, he was killing it with ads, and I had no idea what I was doing with ads. So I was just like, hey, Barry, here's my ad account. Can you go in there and just take a look at what's going on? Because I had no clue what was I had zero idea if what I was doing was good, somewhat good, absolutely horrible, like no clues. So I was like, here's somebody who knows what he's doing. Can you just look at my account and just tell me, am I like lost for hope? And I came back with feedback. It wasn't great, but it was like, he's like, oh, you're not too bad, but like you definitely could be improving on some things on how to stay organized. And like, was I concerned on like if he wanted a keyword? Like, no, all I was concerned about was getting some proper feedback, and that completely transformed how I run ads by asking for help like that. So I felt like I went on a tangent.
No, but that's excellent. Excellent point there. And when I see the way I see publishing is that there's so many keywords. Like the keywords are now what makes it. And especially if you're in the beginning, getting feedback on your book or your book cover or your title, that's very, very valuable.
Yeah.
Because
it's
someone who has years of experience might see something that you don't see. So it's
100%. It's, and I always like, I think you've done a really good thing with this in your program. When you call it the greenfield advantage, I think we talk about the 4 different ways of looking at things.
Yeah.
Because, when you're just looking at your if you're just looking at BSR and reviews, and if you're looking at only those 2 things, it's like, okay, the book's making $500 a month and it has less than 150 reviews. If you look at those 2 things, you're in for a world of hurt for a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, because you know what niche? What 110% right now would be would not that criteria, but would also, I'd like to say, would also be like just horrible for a brand new person to get into. Chair yoga.
Yeah, we mentioned that in the call. We talked about the scoring.
Yeah, I'm in it. So like, but like, as in, if a new publisher is going to get in there and they're going to target chair yoga for seniors over 60, okay, it's profitable and looks like and it looks like a really good thing because so many new people are going in there. And that's the issue. Because your book is just going to get saturated or just get buried. So you have to look at things from a different standpoint, right? You have to take a step back and be like, okay, hold on, there's a ton of new books in here, right? These are all within 60 days, all making a lot of money and all have, only 100 reviews or so. Why? Oh, is it too talked about? Is it right? Now, not saying, can a new person not start today and no, yeah, you definitely could. But you're looking at a 12-month minimum fight for a book to start making a couple grand a month from that without having to spend unless you have like a big ads budget and you can just buy rank in the beginning, like that's a little different. You can kind of cheat the system like that. But if you don't have a budget, like there are better ways. Now, how do you look at that? Well, find a different way to help them using the same problem, or find a different way to solve their problem. There's a lot of different ways to solve that problem, right? So going at it from a different angle could be something. Yeah, I can't remember what we were talking about, but
that's an amazing point. And we talked about that in the Saturday call as well. Someone was asking, do I look, because it was getting a high niche score on a certain software. And I remember your answer there was very helpful, which was,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's secondary. You have to look into other factors as well.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple different factors. And I think that's becoming more and more vital in this day and age. Because yeah, it's just it's just how it is. Like it's not just black and white anymore.
Exactly. Because like you said, if you go to Share Yoga and you see the first page, you think, okay, this is amazing, but
this is a great need.
This is a great need. Yeah, but what you just said, looking at the dates of the book, going to page 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 20, and looking at the books that are not selling that maybe have 70 plus reviews.
Yeah. And another thing is, going into that niche, like you need videos. Like all of the top books have videos. So as a newbie, are you willing to invest in videos now? Okay, videos are like $5 a pop. And you need like 50 to 90. Right? You maybe get them for like $3 to $5, but I can't remember how much we paid for ours. But like, it's not cheap. Right? That could be a whole nother book in a niche that doesn't require videos. So yeah, it's just, I always like to kind of advise people. It's like, hold on, look at a couple other factors, because you never, yeah.
Yeah. And going back to what you mentioned there with building relationships, this is the kind of insights that you get when you're surrounded by other publishers, because when you combine several brains, you get several years of knowledge, and you have experience that I don't have, just like someone else has experiences that you and I don't have. So it's looking at these blind spots that we don't see currently. I know from my experience, I've been learning every single call, and I'm 9 years into publishing. It's the learning never stops, and I think it's amazing what you mentioned there. And one thing with relationships as well, I want to touch on this because you have an interesting story with your VA. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. So, and I think this was actually it popped up in somebody was asking about systems and VAs. So yeah, no, I had a virtual assistant, Abdul, who worked with me like the majority of my publishing career. Pretty much the majority of my publishing career. And I bought him off somebody. sounds like so bad. Like I bought him off somebody. I bought this Indian guy off somebody. But it was like I met the guy in K-Money Mastery, and we connected. He's like, "Hey, I'm leaving the business. I have an assistant that works with me. He's fully trained, comes with all my standard operating procedures, $600. Do you want him?" I'm like, sold. And yeah, I remember my first call with Abdul. I was at my mom's place. We were visiting Canada at the time. It was like, my first call with him. And it was just, I just remember because I was like, "Hey, buddy, I got nothing for you to do yet. I have no idea what I'm going to do with an assistant. I'll hit you back in a couple weeks. All right." He's like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, I have somebody who I'm paying now. How do I get them to work?" And, so, but yeah, it was the best $600 I ever spent. Abdul it was amazing. And it wasn't, I paid the guy 600. Obviously I gave Abdul a monthly payment as well, right? Just to be clear on that. But man, when you can elevate your business to the point where you don't have to do all the small little tasks yourselves, that changes so much. And your goal should be to teach your assistants so much to the point they don't need you anymore. And when it came time after I sold the publishing business with his help, I was like, "Okay, Empire Flippers needs all of these reports, bro, here." And he would work magic and bring them all to me. Right. And, he sold the account and he was actually part of the deal. Right. Abdul went to the new owner and worked with him for a little bit. Actually, I think like a year or so. And, but when it came time for me and Abdul to kind of part ways, it was hard because 5 years, I think he'd worked with me. And he's like, I was concerned. I was, taking away some of his income. That was my main concern, right? And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, bro. I make about $8,000 a month with my KDP account right now. I'm doing okay." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's doing 8K a month and still working with me for like $600 a month or whatever I was paying him. He's like, I like helping you. You've done so much in this space. I couldn't leave. I was just like, "Oh, bro, what?" I couldn't believe it. Like, I had no idea he was doing so well. Couldn't believe it. And we reconnected a few weeks ago. And so, yeah, but no, it was really cool, man.
That's really amazing to listen to. And I know you've read this book because you've mentioned it to me as well. I'm reading it currently. It's called Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Yeah.
And one of the things he talks about in the beginning of the book is that he says that as a leader of a company, so the part of the book, they're comparing what are those 10x leaders, those that have the companies do 10x the industry and average at least, compared to the leaders that are just staying on the same level. And one thing they do differently is that they prepare for the next person that will, and listening to your story there with Abdul, that is in essence what you did. With your guidance, Abdul was able to build a 8K a month Amazon KDP business, publishing business. And
like, that's in Bangladesh. So like, that's like 30 grand American dollars a month, essentially.
Yeah. So you changed his life, though. We can agree on that.
Oh, he runs his own like freelance business now. He has like a team of freelancers that he helps for publishers, like a whole bunch that he runs from Upwork now. Like, yeah, like he does wonderful. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. And that is one thing I also find particularly interesting. And it is that mindset which you as a viewer might have picked up as well, but it is that abundance mindset, that because that is something that people are a little bit afraid of. What happens if I hire a writer and they start to do the books themselves? Or what if I hire my manager and they start to do a publishing business themselves? And you really embody the abundance mindset in that regard. Do you want to expand? Do you want to expand on that?
Bro, 100%. I'm reading a book from Dan Martell right now. It's called Buy Back Your Time. And
yeah, I will read that one too.
Okay, my goal this year is to hire him as a coach, like, or like for next year, 2020. Like that's like the only goal I'm gonna have for 2025 is to work with Dan Martell, and get coached by him. It's just I've really connected with, resonated with this guy. I tell my wife, I call him like the Canadian Alex from Rosie. That's what I kind of call him, right? And it's all about buying back your time. It's all about like the CEO mindset of like hiring people so you can do other things. And like I've done a lot of hiring. Like I've worked with stuff, but it's once again, it's removing the ego and realizing, you know what, I've done that in the past. That doesn't count anymore. Now I have to do it for a different level. And so that's where I'm trying to like get my head around. Like I even started on my computers, like, okay, what are all the different SOPs I'm going to need for this business? I've done it in the past, but what areas didn't work and whatnot. And, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. And then it's just buying back your time so you can make more of an executive level. So was that the question that I kind of think about off on a tangent as usual, but
yeah, and that was a great lead in, and yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to be like, I think the first hire, I don't know if it'll be the first hire I'm going to do, or if it'll be I'm not sure. We'll see what the cost is, but a project manager. One of the things I was evaluating was what are the bottlenecks in the business? I think that might be one of your questions. What are the bottlenecks in the business? And one of the bottlenecks is creating books. It's content. I've created all my books the last 2 years myself, right? With the help of AI, but I've written, edited, formatted, and the help of my wife. All of them ourselves. And we have like 3 or 4 other books that we want to get out for the 2 major brands. And I've been putting them off because I don't want to do them, because I hate creating books. It's like, oh my God. Like to create a high quality book, it sucks because there's so much you have to do and you have to read it 1 billion times. And my brain doesn't like doing stuff like that. So I was like, how can I fix this? Well, I could work with a writer, but then I got to work with a writer. What if I have to go through multiple writers? I don't want to do that. Let's just hire a project manager. And so I was going to reach out to the Urban Writers, or Dibley, and see about hiring. They have a program where you can work with one person, your project manager. You talk to them, you tell them your vision, you tell them what you want, the tone for your book, everything. And then they go make it happen. I was like, that sounds amazing. And so that is what I think I want to go into next. I haven't had a call with them yet to find out the price, because it's probably not going to be cheap, because they're going to have everything ready to go and like properly trained people. Because I could go to Upwork and look for a project manager. And then what happens if I just get it? Like, I'm at the point I'd rather pay more than just go through crap. Like, I'll just take less money at home to save my time. Like, you know what I mean, Peter?
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's just, yeah. So I was like, oh, I know the Urban Writers has it all trained and everything. They have standards. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll just do that. So I think that's what the beginning of Q1 will be for my publishing business. And I'm excited about that, because as soon as I can remove that bottleneck, I can scale.
Yeah. You touched on so many points here. Let's say Okay, let's say I'm afraid that if I hire a manager like this, they're going to take my secrets, or they're going to start their own things. What would you say shortly to someone who's thinking like that?
Yeah, 100%. Some will, and those are the bad hires that you just fire right away, and then you find somebody who won't.
Okay.
Look, if somebody wants to steal from you, they're going to steal from you. Get over it. You can't stop it. Humans will be humans. But I can tell you 100%, if you don't bring on people to your team in publishing, you will cap yourself at a certain limit. The only way to grow is to bring on people. I'd rather own 10% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. So you have to bring people on, let go. And I struggle with this so much, like, letting go and having, but that's going to be a big focus of mine for next year. It's just, okay, think more like a CEO. You don't want to do this all yourself. Let's bring people on. But that fear is common for most new people. It's also eliminated like so fast. As soon as you hire somebody, you're like, oh yeah, that was stupid of me thinking like that. You just hire them, and they're not going to work out for a billion other reasons, not because they're stealing your stuff.
I found that myself. I've never had an issue. And if you hire a writer, for example, you can start a ghostwriter agreement, or as a publisher, especially if you're skilled, that there's so many things that that they don't know. So even if they try to do the exact same thing that you're doing, it's not going to be the same.
And it's also like, if they can just steal your book and make money, your book wasn't any good, because there should be other external factors that you're putting in, like your marketing plan, your whatever. There should be all these other things that you're putting in that don't have to do with the core manuscript, that you have to implement, that will make your book a success, not just the words on the page, if that makes sense. So, yeah, whenever I see that, it's like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to share this or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, your book's probably not that great then, right? Like, reality is, it's, so.
And what would you say to someone who's aiming to hire someone? Maybe they've tried to hire someone before, and they fear that the work that they will get back, especially if it's a task that they are used to doing themselves before, that the task performed by another person will not be to the same standard as if they were performing the task themselves. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, no, and that's true. There are certain tasks that you're going to be able to perform better than others. But the idea is to hire somebody who's going to be able to perform those tasks better than you, right? So I want to outsource writing because I'm going to find people who are better writers than myself, right? Better writers than chat, if you could say, right? So that's what you're doing. Now, okay, formatting. We do, like, so when we went through a year of coloring books, it was really a year of learning how to format books, because from our first book, we hired a graphic designer and paid $1,200 or $1,300 for the graphic designer to design the interior of the book. I wonder if I have it here. No, it's probably upstairs. And so it's like super crazy, all right? Maybe I'll send you some pictures. You can throw it up if you want. And so when we started doing coloring books, Marianne actually paid her to teach her how to use InDesign. And so we use InDesign for all of our interiors now. And so our interiors are not what the standard interiors are that you're getting from all these different formatting services in the publishing space. These are interiors that would cost you $1,000 to create, because Mariana can create them in a couple hours now. And so it's like, yeah, you can steal the book, but good luck formatting that. And so you got to create something that's special and different not just the words on the page, that it makes copying you almost impossible. And going back to that aspect, how are we going to outsource that? Well, we're just going to have to find somebody who knows and understands how to do that. And you just have to pay a little bit more until you find somebody who's better than you. So, like, they're out there. There's 8 billion people in the world. One of them will be able to do the job you think you're the best at better than you.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. You might have to go through 5, 10 people, but once you find that one, your life is so much easier.
It's so much easier. And just the biggest fear is just get that first hired, and then work, and then fired eventually, because the first person never lasts. But you just get that experience of going through that hiring, firing process done as fast as possible. If you're at that point. Now, I'd also argue, like, how busy are you? And everyone's different stages of life or whatnot. There is a right time to bring on staff or an assistant. So yeah.
Amazing. You touched a little bit on this. What are your current plans, and how do you see publishing evolving in the next year?
Okay. It's okay. So, all right, couple things. Okay. Have you seen Premium A+?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
KDP hopefully will get that in 2025. Premium A+ is available to select FBA sellers, where you can have interactive elements in your A+ now. Like, you can hover over something and a text will pop up and it'll show you, it'll highlight something about that product. You can have video in your A+ now. I was watching a video on it the other day. I'll send it to you. That is just starting to get released for FBA sellers. So end of maybe for Q4 next year, we might have that. Who knows? But that will be a game changer. So Amazon is just getting more and more, interactive and more of a better feel for it's like having your own sales page, essentially. They put a lot of more effort into what you can do with your A+. Okay. So, and this is only going to get better with the advancements that's happening with AI and Amazon's investment in AI technology and all of that. But where do I see publishing? Like, it's going to be, I think there's so much that's going to be unknown, because I don't know. It's tricky, because my initial thought is, like, everybody and their mom is coming out with an AI writing software, right? Like, a lot of the big publishing brands, they have them, right? So creating books from start to finish is getting easier because of AI. Okay. So what does that mean? It lowers the barrier of entry. So now how do you stand out? You got to get more creative. So I really think it's going to be, how can you make your book stand out from everything else that people are just having it go through a writing thing and then making a couple edits and publishing it? Like, where does your uniqueness come through? I think that'll be a big thing. Video ads are just scratching the surface on Amazon. I don't know if you're running any video ads.
Yeah, I've tried a few.
It's not cheap. but I think those are just scratching the surface. But I feel like everyone's doing it one way, and I don't feel like that's the right way of doing it. But I think, yeah, like I've had some ideas on like how to do video ads very differently. Like I can't pay $3 or $4 a click right now. Like it's just, that's not cheap, right? But yeah, man, I don't know, like AI is going to keep evolving it and just making things, I don't want to say easier, but it is easier in a sense, but it's going to bring its own challenges. I can tell you this for sure. Like in 2025, people are going to make even more money with self-publishing on Amazon than they did in 2024. That's just a given, right? Like, right. I'm even getting a thumbs up now. Sure. That's a given. Yeah. You know, yeah.
I think you said it very well there. There will be more content, most likely, than ever before published, because it will be easier to create content. But that doesn't mean that everyone who's creating the content will make money. It will more so, the way I see it, it will be a select few that will make even more money than before. And those people are the ones who are doing it right. Like you said, they have a unique or creative way or a unique angle, or they're thinking about publishing in a unique way.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The standing out from the crowd, I think you sum it up in one way: standing out from the crowd. If there's one thing I would really focus on for 2025 is how to stand out from everybody else, because that is going to be that's going to be key, right? In a lot of niches. Like I said, I've been away from the space for a very long time. You know, like I was saying, is like I was a little nervous to do this interview. It's been a long time since I've sat down with somebody in the publishing space, and I really feel like, you know, the Emeka who did, you know, who before is very different than who I am now, if that makes sense. You know, I just want to be able to contribute, help, have fun, and just make some money. Like, it's such an amazing opportunity. And it's, like I said a couple times, it's better now. It'll be better in 2025 than it's ever has been before. It's just, it's so awesome. I remember I used to say, if you're not making money from your smartphone, you don't have a smartphone, you have a dumb phone. With AI, there is no excuse anymore not to be able to, you know, pay your bills or take care of the basic things, or, you know, or whatever. Like, it's just, it's so easy now. And like, I'm talking about, like, bro, I have, like, we have one book right now. It's doing, you know, $400 or $500 a day. That book cost me $0. Like, zero. Like, okay, my chat subscription, okay? And do I pay for Adobe? I don't know if I pay Adobe, maybe that once a year or something. But like, to create it, like, I wrote it on chat myself. I edited it myself. Mariana formatted it. Mariana made the cover herself. Okay. I use Book Bounty for reviews. Makes $400 to $500 a day. It cost me nothing. Nothing. When people complain about not being able to do stuff or whatever, they're just full, you know, it's just like, it cost me nothing, Peter. Nothing. You couldn't say that 3 years ago. right? Like you can literally invest nothing in this business and make hundreds of dollars a day from scratch, from anywhere except for North Korea. That's the fact, right? Maybe China. No, I'm sure there's publishers for China. Are there publishers from China?
Good question.
Can you do this from China? I don't know if I've run into Chinese students. Very few. Now that I think about it, I don't know. But it's, bro, 2025, broke, poverty, poor, it equals, okay, we're just going to do anything. Like, this is such an easy business. It's really not hard. It's, you know, it just boggles my mind. Like, hey, Julia made a book and she's made $72 as a 6-year-old this year.
How much?
Right? How old is she? She's 9. So, sweetie, she's 9 years old. $72, maybe a bit more. It was a few months ago. I checked it was $72. But she made a little coloring book. You know what she did? She took my computer. Okay, she opened up Midjourney. I showed her how to make prompts. She made prompts. Okay, she made like 30 pages. Then she made her cover, and Mariana put it together. And then I showed her how to publish it. I just made like $80. But she has.
That's true.
She has an asset online that makes money. And so it's like when people, you know, complain or whatever, I'm just like, your mindsets are broken. Like there's just, it's not the program. It's not this, it's not that. It's, you know, there's something in your head. You know, I remember there was this person in Bear's group, and I think she left actually, but she was always negative. She would always have a question or a post about, oh, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. Oh, I tried this, like that was all she was doing. One day I snapped. I had it, and I took her entire post. And I just like wrote, okay, so I wrote my results against everything that she said. I was like, so your statement is false because I personally have done all of that. So what you're saying is not true. It's not reality. It may be your reality, but your reality isn't real. It's only real for you. So you have a mindset issue or a skill issue, right? And she got all pissy about it, but Peter, we have the easiest business in the world right now. It's only getting easier. Yes, there's hiccups. Yes, there's roadblocks. Yes, there's whatever, but you know, people are going to be making like 40, 50, 60, 70, like 90 grand or more in 1 month over the holidays. That they need no education for, they need no degree for, they need no fancy whatever for, that they can do in their sweatpants sitting at home. Show me what else you can do that with. It's just, it's so incredible. So it's a great business. It's a phenomenal business. And I can really, like one book, people don't understand, one book can change your life. Right? 5, you won't even recognize your new self.
I think we've covered the secret to success here on this interview. Not only overcoming limiting beliefs, but we've also covered checking your ego, which I think is one key. And it's something that we all struggle with. We don't want to look at the reality sometimes, but if we're willing to look at reality and see, okay, maybe my book did not make a lot of money because the cover wasn't good, or maybe the niche I chose was too crowded, or maybe the description doesn't connect with the readers. If you're willing to sit in discomfort and look at your book and look at your piece of work that you probably spent hours on, tens of hours, and see, okay, it for some reason it didn't do well. Let's figure out why. And you just drill down and you ask why. And as we've made clear, there are people out there willing to help you. So take the chance when you get the chance. For example, if Emeka or someone else reaches out, or you reach out to them and they're willing to take a look at your work, then take the feedback.
That's so important. That's so important that it's one of the biggest things that I think people fall into. It's like, okay, I know I have a great cover. I know I have this. It's like, okay, you're saying a lot of I knows. Have you proven that? Like, have you done any split tests on your cover is great? And, and I'll be the first to admit, man, like, look, I learn best when you're just straight up and you just tell me how it is. Like, I hate sugarcoating stuff. And I also just don't sugarcoat things. And you know what? That gets me in so much trouble, like more times than you can imagine, because I just tell people the honest truth. I just don't give a fuck. Sorry for swearing. And it's just, I want to help people. I want them to do the best they possibly can. But like, and my word is not gospel. So if I say something, I'm like, argue with me. Tell me why I'm wrong. Show me, what am I missing? And like, I remember there is this, in this group, there's this woman posting her book, and she wanted to get feedback on her cover. It was the last story, I swear. And she wanted to get feedback on her cover. And it was a book for her brand. Okay. She wanted to have her face on the cover. That is a genius idea for a lot of different reasons, right? When you're selling your brand and you want to have your face on the cover, okay? Here's the problem. She was not photogenic at all. Her smile was too big. It took up, it was, correct me. Not so much she wasn't photogenic. Her photographer sucked, but she thought she was good because she was a friend. But the pictures, all of them, were bad pictures. They were bad. If she had a different photographer, she could have got good photos. And I was the only one who was pushing back on the cover. I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is screaming freaky psycho lady. This isn't screaming like what you're trying to go for. I get what you're trying to go for. I think it's good. But these photos don't work. And like, from the bottom of my heart, I'm trying to help. And people are liking my comment. Like, the likes are going up. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm not alone here. But like, I just think if you could take the ego aside and look, as hard as it is sometimes, it shortens the learning curve by so much.
Yeah.
But
I can relate a lot to what you said. I've even had some ask, can you give me the honest truth? I really want the honest truth, and I give the honest truth, and I never hear back from them. So
right, you're like, it's just, what's the point? Like,
I go in.
No, it's like, if you want your hand held, like, I'm the wrong person to come to for advice if you get easily offended. Just don't mess with me. But it's like, if you want like an actual honest opinion on like what's good, what's bad, what should be worked on, like, yeah, because I just, like, I want you to do well. Sugarcoating stuff doesn't help you or anybody. And that's the same thing. Like, I've had friends that are like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on, man. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And sometimes I don't get it, and I just keep running into a wall until eventually I get it. But like, no.
I think that might have been one of the, we've talked so many strategies, but I think that strategy of just being willing to sit in discomfort and check your ego. I think that is what will help people the most, because if you're willing to put your book cover for judgment, or you're willing to put your work out there, and you're willing to have other people tell you what they see when they look at your work, then you will get so much better, so much faster. You get so many insights that you couldn't have gotten by yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about it like this morning. I was like, oh, do I want to mention ego? I wasn't sure if I was going to mention that or not, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, right? I had my ego checked a number of years ago, and like it stung. But you know what? I'm grateful for that, because I like myself so much more now than I did back then, because I've grown, matured. I've just, so
one side note there, you mentioned martial arts. Do you think that has played a role? Because I know 100% has played a part for me. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm so good at this, and then you go into sparring and you spar with someone who's done it for 5-10 years, and you get clocked. And those realizations, they really humble you in a way. And sometimes it requires getting punched in the face, or being thrown down, or whatever it is, or being critiqued, and just sitting with it and looking at yourself. And
that's very true, man. And like, obviously the pro wrestling space is very different than martial arts. But like both hurt you bloody, and I was always very like, I know you don't know me personally, but maybe you know me through the videos. Like, I'm cocky, I'm arrogant, I'm in your face, I'm loud, I'm obnoxious. Yeah, I'm all of it, right? And that's what pro wrestlers. But when I'm training or going to an event or anything, I'm humbled, because I haven't paid my dues. And being here in Mexico, being the foreigner, I've had opportunities thrown at me that people like who've been here doing this for like a decade dream of, just because I just think different. I know how to put myself in those situations and whatnot. Like I did it. I don't know if you could play a clip. I did an event here for one of the Conan Big. He's all over Mexico. He's well known. Now he's a hero here in the city. Hero. Okay. And I wrestled his last match in a tag match with him. Okay. This was my 4th match. We were all over TV, and not only is everyone pissed that this new guy who's wrestled 4 matches is coming in on this level for this stage, I come out with my Canadian flag on, and the entire arena boos me. And so like that's the nervousness goes away. I'm like, all right, it's on. And like what I did the next morning, my phone's blowing up, and I am all over the news. Every single channel has me. The Canadian defaces the Tigres flag. And it was like all over. And it was just a big, like, people are just pissed. But I'm like, and I could tell when I would go train, I was like, guys, if you see the opportunity, you take it. And the mentality is a lot different from a lot of people here. They don't get that, right? It's a very crab in the bucket mindset here. And going back, but I am very humbled. Like so there's like the character me, and then there's me. And it's funny because they joke about it on social media. They're like, the Black Canadian, he's like, the heel always yelling about Mexico and this and that. Except if you ever like bump into him in the mall, he's like the nicest guy in the world. And I'm like, yeah, because that's really who I am. I can have my outbursts, but in the end, I just want us to all win. Because if we all can win, isn't everyone just better and happier? And right? We can all win. There's enough for all of us.
exactly.
So I don't know if that story was useful or not at all, but
It was very, very interesting. It comes from the frame of helping people.
yeah.
And with publishing, it's collaboration instead of competition. Because that's what we're
Exactly.
doing when we're talking like this, when we're sharing strategies, we're collaborating, because why not? Why, it's so inefficient. If you do your thing and you learn your lessons, let's imagine the cavemen, they're trying to figure out how to do fire, and there's one who already has figured out how to make fire, and it doesn't make sense.
It's like, and it goes back to like, how many self-help books have you ordered over the last little bit? Tons. How many were on the exact same topic? Tons. Why? Because you're always trying to learn. So it's even if you're in the same niche as somebody, like, chances are our customers are going to buy multiple books because they're just looking for just, you know, like, it's just because one book doesn't solve the problem usually, or they want to solve, or they're looking for more information on the same problem, so they buy another book, right? It's yeah, or there's just new people coming.
Yeah, I think that's the blue ocean strategy. Maybe I'm wrong. It's getting late there, but it talks about expanding the category. So even competition, if they're coming in, you might be showing up under their books as also bought. So there are more people being aware of this topic because of your competition.
Yeah.
So
you got to remember, like, it's always flowing, right? Like the seniors niche, for example, like, people are always getting older. So there's always a new, like, so, and reality isn't the goal to have these books selling for 3 to 5 years down the road? Like, isn't that ideal? Because if you look at it from kind of and I know that might be hard for a lot of people, but if you look at it from a longer standpoint, how could you build your book over 3 years? Like, thousands of reviews, right? In a niche, always going to be like, there's always going to be, it's not a trendy niche or anything. It's one that's stable, right? But then that's something that's always going to be like, you probably have books from your first little bit in publishing that still make a decent income every single month.
yeah, I think my top book is from 2018. It's making thousands of dollars, probably going to make 5,000 plus this month. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's always going to do that. Like, that book it's cemented, it's established, it's placed on Amazon. It took off the for rent sign or the for sale sign. It's home, right? It's not moving. And that's the idea. That's actually a kind of a pretty cool analogy. You could probably use like real estate on Amazon, or your book, like, a new book is like setting up a tent.
It is real estate on Amazon. That's what it is. Because if you get 1,000 plus reviews, like you said, if it's getting a lot of sales and it's organic, it's getting up to that review amount, that book is going to stay there.
Yeah. No, it's key. It's key.
Okay, as we wrap up, this has been a long interview, and I greatly appreciate talking with Emeka. And I think, as I said in the introduction, we can appreciate Emeka for his straightforward advice and his authenticity, and keeping it real and saying his thoughts. And it's been a very educational and helpful and inspiring video and interview. And if you want to check out Emeka's channel, then I'll leave a link in the description of this video. So definitely go in there, subscribe to his channel, and we take it from there.
Well, yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. If you made it to the end, wow. I don't know how long we've been going, but it feels like well over an hour.
That's well over 2 hours.
Holy crap. Drop something in the comments. Let us know you made it to the end. You know what? Drop profits in the comments if you made it to the end, and then we'll know that you were freaking dedicated.
Yeah. That you're a different kind of breed. That's amazing if you made it all the way. So, okay. Thank you very much for watching. See you in future videos.